Now, an Emeritus Newsbrief, I'm Lynn, Huston. The Fed drops interest rates. Congressional hearings reveal just how bad state budgets and unemployment really are. Officials call for a second stimulus package. The government says okay to an airline merger. GM and Chrysler reportedly getting closer to a deal. And a consultant estimates just how many jobs would be lost in such a deal. First, the Federal Reserve cut their interest rates by 0.5%. The vote was unanimous this time, with inflation moderating due to the drop in oil prices. Didn't seem to do much for the markets. The Dow was down 74.16, the Nasdaq up 7.74. Crude oil prices gained more than $5 to close at $68.23. During congressional hearings today, a lot of testimony about what this country needs. In the House Transportation Committee, calls to include roads, bridges, and other infrastructure in a second stimulus package.
I clearly and respectfully recommend that we move strongly with an economic package, one that I hope will be in the 1.5% to 2% GDP. That would be in $250 to $300 billion range, and it should happen post-election, not post-inauguration.
At the House Ways and Means Committee, New York Governor Patterson says state budgets across the country, which were balanced this spring, are now billions in the red.
There are 25 states in deficit, totaling $48 billion of debt. Their projections for 2010 are spiked upward incredibly. There will be 39 states in deficit, and the amounts owed total over $105 billion. In the state that I represent, the state of New York, we balanced our budget on April 9th. The budget then grew to a deficit of nearly $1 billion. Even after we addressed that, our state now is $1.5 billion in deficit.
Christine Owens of the National Employment Law Project says benefits should be extended through the end of next year.
People want to work, they need to work, but they cannot find jobs in an economy that is bleeding jobs. They are running out of state unemployment benefits and are exhausting their federal benefits too. Since the beginning of this month, 800,000 long-term jobless workers have exhausted their federal extended benefits, and more than 1 million will do so by the end of the year. This grave unemployment crisis requires quick action to help jobless workers, aid struggling states, and spur economic recovery.
The latest mass layoff announcements: Quest Communications laying off 1,200 due to the changing marketplace, with thousands of customers moving into internet and cable phone service. A consultant from Michigan says if the GM-Chrysler deal goes through, 25,000 to 35,000 workers could lose their jobs. The biggest hit coming at Chrysler's headquarters in Auburn Hills. By the way, sources are reporting the two car companies are nearing a deal, with financing and government clearance two of the biggest issues remaining. Word from the Justice Department today that the Delta Northwest Airlines merger has been approved. As to the impact it will have on Northwest's base of operations in Minnesota, it's still unknown. A new survey from the College Board shows the price of a two-year college education cheaper on a national average this year by less than 1%. But on the other hand, it'll cost nearly 1% more for a four-year college education at both public and private institutions this year. See the Emeritus News education page for survey info on student financial aid. And on the Emeritus News homepage, a story on a battle brewing over Medicare benefits next year. Emeritusnews.com, the latest on big issues and public policy. That's an Emeritus News Brief. I'm Lynn, Huston.